Hello, everyone. Welcome to Much Review About Nothing, the podcast where we review a movie we haven't seen through cultural osmosis and what we can find on the internet. I'm your host, Billy Greer.
And we're your co-hosts, Jake Greer and
Luke Greer.
Let's don't watch a movie.
Well, we'll get into the segment Introspection Inspection, which used to be Introspection Corner, but I've decided to change the name because I like this one better. So yeah, one thing we're doing is we're adding on a tagline we say after we do the intro. Billy did that. The main thing I wanted to talk about this time was, for me personally, listening to or regarding the pros and cons more when we make our essentially joke scoring system, because that's usually what it is. Not a very serious scoring system we have.
Unless it crushes me emotionally.
Well, it can be serious. Like I didn't really want any rules here. I wanted everyone to follow their own bliss.
But I just kind of want to regard the pros and cons a little bit more. You know, that's all. That's just for me.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever floats your boat, baby. That's the way we're gonna do it.
Or as our dad would say, whatever suits your boat.
Yes.
You know.
He's a master of messing up sayings.
So, unless Luke has anything for introspection inspection, we might get right into the movie.
Yes,
or
and
into the movie, but
what are we not watching today?
We're watching Solo, a Star Wars story.
Not watching Solo, a Star Wars story.
Right, we're watching a trailer of Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yes.
Which is very interesting because what is a Star Wars story, really?
I don't know. It implies there's going to be more of these, but like, this just came out of the blue. It's like this sci-fi adventure. I mean, you'd think it would do well, but it's just like, there's no build-up. Like, I mean, who are these characters? Where'd they come from? Like,
where are they going?
Yeah.
I feel like there's some knowledge we're missing. Maybe they'll expand upon it, like, as when he gets older and things like that. You know, maybe there's a movie in the future, you know, time skip and all that. Maybe
I wish there was like 6 or 7, 8 movies before this one to kind of give us some background, but
But do you really need that amount of info dump?
I mean, I guess you don't need that much, but I just feel like at least 2 or 3 more movies would have been nice. Like maybe a prequel series to back up an original series, something like that. You know?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
But let's get into the trailer and see what we think about the trailer, because that's all we're going on, really, most of the time.
Trailer over.
Right, so let's just kind of go around the room and see what you think. Let's start with you. Thoughts on the trailer?
Well, I mean, it looks like a rip-roaring good time. I wish I had some background on these characters.
I don't know. I'm getting some bad vibes from it, strictly because it has all the trappings of a Western, but set in sci-fi. So I'm afraid we're going to have like a reverse Robin Hood, where it was like medieval times in the future. Is this like a new trend going on in Hollywood where you mismatch time periods and stuff? Well, it could be good. It could be good. But I know for Robin Hood, if you watched the previous one, I did not like. So I'm already getting
too muddled.
I'm getting some bad juju, so to speak, here.
I'm going to take the reverse opinion on that. Think about it. Sci-fi and Western, they almost go hand in hand together.
Yes,
they really do.
It's almost like a Firefly or something.
And part of that, they're really focused on the blaster. I wonder if in the movie, blaster's really important. Just why would they focus on it so much in the trailer?
They focused so much?
Like, yeah, like you got
shots.
Yeah, you got a couple of scenes.
I noticed that too. A lot of shots where he's throwing the blaster.
I don't know, maybe
there was like 2 with him walking up on his hips, very prominent. I like the trains. I like trains.
Yes,
we all like trains.
I like this.
I think that's a pretty good pro right there.
Yes,
I like trains.
I like the sci-fi
classic train robbery. Set in the future, but like I said, Robin Hood kind of burned me, but maybe it works better, you know? Well, the other way around.
Maybe.
Instead of.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is Robin Hood didn't go far enough.
Yeah, it was less committal.
That's probably, but this is going all the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
This is clearly like a pairing of two things instead of this gray amorphous mishmash.
Yeah.
However, I will say that out of the trailer so far, not happy with the color palette and the lights.
I was gonna say that it's so dark.
It is
I was like, are there people
dark
there?
and flushed, and it's just.
It's like in a cartoon when they're in the dark and all you can see is eyes.
Would maybe love to see maybe a red or green or blue in there somewhere. But
Any other color except like tan or brown would be nice.
It's just nothing but earthy colors.
Yeah, it's dark or brown. That's
they're stealing from a train. They're in the underworld. You know, it matches the underworld.
Yeah.
I guess it does need to be a little green.
But even westerns had lots of nice color, and even though they're most of them in like in a prairie or a desert, I would love to see more neon lights and signs. That's another thing.
More neon, kind of like a Blade Runner.
Because that does bring nice color to an otherwise drab setting. There's lots of famous dystopian sci-fi cities are all great, but there's just so much color because of all the neon lights and everything.
Yeah,
So,
but what were we gonna say?
Do you think this has a little bit of a dystopian twist? I mean, or is he just in a bad part of the world from what we saw?
I don't know. Everywhere seems pretty rough.
So
They take place on. Do they have like space travel in this? Because I couldn't tell if it was like set on the same planet or a different because maybe it was up in the polar caps on the ice train.
Yeah,
And then so is it all in the, because planets have varied geography. They're just not one set like a complete desert planet or a complete temperate world. That would be cool for sci-fi to have it all take on one planet, but they have a spaceship to fly all around that one planet, you know?
Yeah, it would also be cool if sci-fi did what we were saying, like you go to the ice planet, you go to the forest planet, you know? I mean, that would be a unique spin on it if there was planets that had one, singular kind of biome.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really like that out there.
That's really highly unrealistic. I mean, I know this is a sci-fi, but you know.
Yeah, you gotta have some reality.
Yeah, otherwise it's like, they could do anything. They could be flying in a giant purple elephant could be flying nearby.
Oh, I know, yeah, there's gotta be some rules.
I mean, from the trailer, they were flying in something, obviously. It looked like a ship, or they... like
it could have been in a low-altitude cruiser of some sort. They could have been darting on the same
planet. It
Yeah,
could have been anything, to be honest, because we haven't seen the movie.
Yeah,
so it's all speculation on our
That's
part.
the deal. There's like this underlying current of like, we should know these characters, we should know their weapons, like you're saying, the blaster, like who cares about the blaster?
And why do you keep shooting onto that giant bear thing? It's like 190 years old.
Yeah,
why
is there this old man that's like with him, like old bear man?
It's an alien creature, I assume. It's a Star Wars.
Yeah,
you can infer some.
I did see other like weird little gobbledygook.
A lot of insects.
Aliens.
A lot of insects.
Yeah.
Maybe that was underground. The planet. Maybe there's like an underground insect kingdom as well.
Yeah. Let's move on to amazing articles.
And I do have one myself that I found really interesting, which may, when kind of researching this, there was allusions to the fact that it didn't do as well. I think I may have a reason for that, but we'll get into that. I think it should be on
Yes, I have some stuff regarding that as well. This one's mainly just the headline, but unfortunately, it's a real shame because we don't have much good sci-fi anymore, but...
Not since E.T.
Yep, not since E.T. It says Disney to lose over $50 million on Solo, a Star Wars story, which is pretty bad. I feel like something called Star Wars should do better at the box office. I don't know. It's just a vibe I get.
Maybe it came out in the wrong month.
Well, funny you should say that because one of the writers was saying basically the same thing.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
And this came out like yesterday. Said Star Wars writer wonders what would happen if Solo released this week in December when we're filming this instead of back. I believe this movie came out in May.
Something like that. It's been a while, but we're kind of with the podcast. We can do any movie we want.
Yeah, as long as we haven't seen it. That's the only rule.
Right.
And we have not seen any of these movies we talked about, and we will never have seen any of these movies we talked about. That is our guarantee.
Yes.
Only the most useless, preconception field reviews. That is our aim and our goal.
Exactly.
So yeah, he's just saying it was one of the biggest movie upsets of 2018. Underperformed. John Kasdan wrote it. Hard not to wonder how Solo might have fared if it had come out tonight. Which I don't know why it would matter. There's Force Awakens. What? I don't know what this nonsense is. There's they talking about comics. I don't know. It's weird. I guess they're saying it's safe to assume a holiday release may have helped the movie.
Right. During the holidays, people are more, spending with money and stuff like that. Usually you get, your Christmas bonuses and things like that. So it probably would have done better. But I'm unsure of that due to what I'm going to bring up eventually. I don't know how many articles you have left if you want to get into this.
I just have a couple, but I don't know. I thought that like if a movie is good enough, people are going to go see it no matter, like the Marvel movies come out like every 4 months and people flock to those. I don't know why it would affect something as cool as the idea of a star war, a war amongst stars.
I don't know. Maybe it's because they would have had more time to hype it. Again, the thing kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know,
Yeah.
so maybe they were
Totally
saying,
new IP.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Marvel, you already have brand recognition.
Well, that is
right
true.
there.
But I mean, like this movie had everything going for it: sci-fi, action, and there was no movie that came before it that was like super controversial, and that movie didn't have this weird tagline about destroying the past. There was nothing like that that might hinder this movie.
Yeah.
That's why it's really weird that it didn't do so well, which is disappointing because I like sci-fi.
Well, you did mention it before that there hasn't really been any sci-fi movies coming out. Maybe that's because people just don't like sci-fi anymore. You know?
Yeah, because the new Blade Runner didn't do well either.
Maybe it's just
Maybe it's a dying
because when people think of sci-fi, they think of a little Muppet alien who touches people with a glowing finger, and that's sci-fi to them.
Yeah.
When it gets all action-packed, they're like, whoa, what's going on here? Where's the cute little alien?
Yeah,
Well-
E.T. was kind of the shining example of sci-fi.
It was.
For a long time.
I mean, in a way, that's kind of a pro for this movie, that it's not a tiny little alien who heals people. I also think trains should be a pro, but...
Yeah, I agree. I was wanting to put that down.
Maybe they should have had, instead of having, like, one little alien, if they were going to do that, maybe, like, a family of weird aliens that also help. You know, like, I don't know, like, whistle and everything, or just do some weird, crazy abilities, you know?
Yeah, I wonder if the furry bear thing is supposed to be kind of like that, the kind of like
maybe that's-
sidekick,
Yeah.
kind of alien sidekick.
Well, they overshot it. He's not cute. He's
Yeah.
too big and terrifying. We just saw he hurt this poor man by slamming his
I
head to the
bet he
ground.
could rip a guy's
That's
arm
true.
off and beat him to death with them.
I know. That's kind of the vibe I got, too.
So are we saying that it's a con that doesn't have a little cute alien as a sidekick? You know,
I'm
Yeah,
not sure if
no
so much
cute
as
alien.
I'm just saying that it probably wouldn't have mattered either way, but it probably would have made more people comfortable because they've been like, "Oh, this is like E.T."
Yeah, if you want to do a sci-fi right, you got to do it like E.T., which
Yeah.
is what we've learned for
right?
for the
But,
past
you know,
decades of cinema.
do put those pros down.
Pros,
Well, actually, we just decided that the pro that I thought of, not E.T., is actually a con, so not that one, but trains. Trains is a pro.
Trains.
Yeah,
Everyone
'cause-
loves trains.
trains, just in
Just
general.
trains.
People love trains.
Right. There was two trains. It was
There
a
were
double
two
train.
trains? Oh,
It was a double train,
It
double
had-
track. It
It
was
had
awesome.
one on top and one on the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, pro
Which makes me think
double train?
Double train.
Double
I
train.
think we got to do double train.
Double train, double fun. So it makes me wonder. Maybe this is set in like a sci-fi dystopian London. You got double-decker buses. You have double-decker trains. I love to stack things
Yeah,
off each other.
like Japan, where the trains are real big. I mean, we just don't know. We don't know anything about this universe.
Yeah.
All we can do is guess.
Yeah, like we assumed that was on a planet, but what if it's just on Earth? I mean, the varied geography and
Yeah.
all that.
Maybe aliens came here. Maybe
That'd be cool.
that big furry thing. Maybe he's like an immigrant.
Yeah,
who came
maybe
over here to work.
maybe his little jungle planet got maybe taken over by lizard people.
Yeah, something like that.
So this article, I'm really glad we didn't see this movie. I'll tell you why. And this might be why it didn't do so well. Solo, this is the New York Times now. Pretty big place, I would say. Pretty big outlet. Solo sputters at box office, raising worries of Star Wars fatigue. Now, Star Wars fatigue, I've never heard of this before.
Yeah.
I think it could be a disease. I think people were catching something called Star Wars fatigue inside the theaters.
This movie was making people sick. Is
I
that what
think
you're saying?
so. I think that's why it suffered
Well,
so
you know,
badly.
this is Disney, right? Maybe they were trying some experimental lights or film, and it was just having an adverse effect on
Yeah, maybe
people.
they're trying to make something that would make you more
excited for it.
Yeah, more of a fan, but it backfired and it gave me fatigue
It just-
instead
just
because
makes it tired.
otherwise the only other way to interpret that is they're sick of Star Wars movies, but there's literally only been one.
Yeah.
So how could you get sick of them?
Yeah, and two, people, I mean, there's like a whole bunch of Marvel movies. You'd think people get sick and tired of those if that was the case.
Yeah.
So I think we have to have that as a con. It makes you sick.
It makes you sick. Yes.
So
That is not
makes
good.
maybe
you sick.
Star
physically
Wars,
sick.
Star Wars fatigue is what they're calling it.
if you haven't seen the movie yet, maybe think about that. Now, I don't think Star Wars fatigue works on everybody. Cause,
Yes.
there are people who give it positive reviews and they don't seem to get adversely affected by it. Other people do, though. So
My thing is watching it on Netflix, not in a movie theater where they can't pump that stuff in
That's
there.
what I was gonna say. I don't know. Is it the movie itself? Is the movie designed to have this effect, or is it in the theater? Was Disney trying their weird experiments in the theater?
it just may have been a natural outbreak while people were watching the movie.
That's true.
Then it got tacked on notes. Some Star Wars fatigue makes you tired and things like that.
And so people just stop going to it because they don't want to get sick.
Yeah, it could have been that, but yeah. So
I don't want to take a chance. So con makes you sick.
Someone called it. I don't know. Was it the CDC on Disney for like releasing a potential viral plague?
Well, they're too powerful.
And maybe they paid them off.
Yeah,
that could be it, because we didn't hear about that too much, like as a massive outbreak or news story. It just kind of
it was mentioned, but no one really freaked out about it. Which is weird.
no.
Or on top of that, it may have been the fact that this movie, like most of it was reshot, is what I found out, which is insane. It's been happening a lot, it seems.
You're supposed to rewrite your scripts, not reshoot your movie.
Yeah, this is. I mean, there's going to be some reshoots in an average movie, but it's like touch up.
You gotta fix up the lighting, maybe correct one scene.
Yeah, and this is from. I didn't say the other places. My mistake. This one's from Screen Rant, and it says Solo: A Star Wars Story reshoots. What's Lord and Miller and what's Ron Howard? I think that's it. This article goes over like what Lord and Miller shot and what Ron Howard shot, because Lord and Miller were the first directors on this, but they were replaced.
They got Lord Miller. Isn't he
Lord Miller, yes.
Isn't he like a noble in England? They got like an actual lord.
Yeah, it was a good get. Lord Miller was the first director, and it said that it keeps using they. I guess that's his personal pronouns. It says they were fired by Lucasfilm over 80% of the way through filming and replaced a month later by Howard. So this movie was basically done under Lord Miller, and then they replaced it with Ron Howard.
Maybe Lord Miller was just too posh for them. They were going for a gritty Western. When they came back, it's like, well, he's over there sipping teas, talking about how much he loves the Queen. We can't have this.
Could go back into the setting of being in London or something like that.
Maybe it is set in London. Double-decker train, Lord Miller.
He's from London, so,
He obviously has some influence on the movie, even though they reshot a bunch of things.
Well, there's going to be like 20% that's still his, according to this.
Oh, really?
Because, what does it say? Yeah, because some of it is still... Yeah, okay, so it says not 2030. Regardless, that still leaves 30% of Lord Miller's version out there. So, their touch is there. So maybe the train is the residual, from their filming job. And I got to say, you get Lord Miller. I mean, he's the Lord, for goodness sake. And you kick him off? I'm sorry.
I mean, he's in the House of Lords. He's obviously a politician and all that. But they kick him out for who? Ron Howard? Who's that?
Yeah, I mean, he directed Willow. I'm sure Ron Howard's great. But
so he just filmed The Tree. So big whoop-de-doo.
I don't know.
That passes art nowadays?
Well, Andy Warhol would direct, he would film people sleeping or, eating a hamburger or something. He's a great artist. So, they got rid of Lord Miller.
Yeah, Lord Miller.
Yeah, it's a darn shame.
I know. Disney, they're so weird.
They get Lord Miller on the silver platter. They just drop the ball.
And I was
they get a guy who films trees.
Yeah, and I was also reading that that maybe Lord Miller was making it too comedic, and they didn't like that. So
it was probably that really weird, surreal British humor, and they were probably afraid that American audiences wouldn't get it. Maybe in one of the cutscenes, it would just switch to a weird animated scene. They're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, let's go over here. Oh,
yeah, I don't know what the problem was.
Which actually, I think what appealed to Americans is I've read some things that kind of comedy has kind of died out in Britain. But it's kind of... Americans love that kind of thing.
So we kind of come around to it?
Maybe Disney's out of touch. Maybe they're just thinking back then,
But Disney, I think, wanted a more overall appeal, not just America, because there are other important box offices like China, and things like that.
Maybe they were afraid the Chinese wouldn't get it.
Maybe.
That's a big market.
But see, that's my opinion. You got to take risks because from the trailer, I mean, it looked okay, but like it's all like we said, brown and dark, and like I don't know what's going on. Nothing stands out. Like if Lord Miller had been allowed to do his job, maybe we've been bursting with color and humor, and maybe there was something to latch onto in the trailer. But I mean, we'll never know now. So another thing they changed was apparently the main villain, like, and this kind of ties into another section where I look up trivia, but they were saying that the main villain, Dryden Voss, he was originally like this dinosaur bird-like figure.
Oh man, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, but they got rid of that because like the original role was cast. And like he was in the makeup. When they did reshoots, they couldn't get this guy back, and they didn't want to do the makeup again. Oh. So they just got Paul Bettany and gave him like facial scars and said, "Hey, you'll be our villain."
There's no commitment there. One thing that I kind of find interesting is this like mentality of we'll do it over again, or we'll fix it in post, or things like that. I mean, that's our mentality as well.
Well,
what I mean,
that's
like,
all we got. I mean, we wouldn't have a podcast if we couldn't fix it in post.
I just mean like video games. They have like a day one patch. Movies they get a day one reshoot. Or day 90 reshoot.
You go to the movie theater or like wait.
Yeah,
I know you just bought a ticket to see this movie, but we're gonna edit it. We're going to update it. It's gonna take a little hour, like a 5 gigabyte patch.
It's still in the works.
I mean, they do that though. They have the screening. They take the audience reaction, then they edit it again. Think about it. It's just that I think Suicide Squad had that.
Yeah, that movie. That movie was like they just chopped it into like this weird sushi of a movie. I don't.
Right, but we're not talking about Suicide Squad.
We can't talk about it. We've seen it.
We can't talk about it. But I think that's pretty much it on Amazing Articles. Did you have anything else?
That was basically it. There was another article that was saying that the movie reminded the reviewer of Jules Verne. And I was like, oh, wow, Jules Verne, big science fiction writer. He wrote, 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He wrote Around the World in 80 Days. So I was like, oh, wow, how interesting. And apparently similarities are Jules Verne had a giant squid in 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and there's also a giant squid in Solo. And
that's a pro, man. Giant squid.
Yeah, that is a pro.
Do you think that maybe another part of the plot is they have to travel around the planet in 80 days? It's like a sort of galactic race?
Well, they didn't mention that. And that's the problem. You can't just say it's like Jules Verne because it has a giant squid.
I think that's good enough for me, but I
mean, that's a pro. But like, if you're going to make a comparison to Jules Verne, I want a little more than that. It's got to be like this movie is like Jules Verne stories in that it's really logistically oriented. Like they map out everything to the T, like in Around the World in 80 Days. I want it to be dry and full of statistics and facts, like a real Jules Verne book. You can't just give me as a squid too.
Maybe that was another thing with Lord Miller's cut. Maybe it was too much like that because isn't Jules Verne English? I'm pretty sure.
I don't want to say I don't know enough about Jules Verne.
I kind of forgot about him, to be honest. I mean,
but if he is, that would explain why that would make sense. Well, I think that's it for Amazing Articles. If you want to go on to rando reviews.
Yeah. So I think we'll start with David. And his was important for a couple different reasons. Was pretty good despite the negative press and gnashing of online critics who never actually saw the movie. So some people stealing our thing.
They're stealing our thing. What is this nonsense?
So I don't
know about this not them liking. I mean, from what we saw so far, it's a bit meh, but it has giant squids and giant trains.
I don't get it. I don't know why there would be critics of this if they haven't seen it like us.
Which I don't like because I thought we were the only people dumb enough to do this.
I know.
Apparently there's a lot of people. I don't like that. Stealing our thunder.
It's an art.
So David continues. I have to admit, I was wrong in my preconceptions. So he had preconceptions about the film.
Yes.
He goes on to say, the thing with Lando loving a robot was a little ham-fisted and stupid. It was like 2 to 3 minutes out of an otherwise great movie that actually did feel like Star Wars again. So he's talking about again.
Well, he must be talking about like a game or a comic because
maybe this was a book. Before,
maybe
that's what normally happens in Hollywood. Is that they're normally books or stuff like that, and they get made into movies.
Is this a YA? This isn't YA, right?
I hope not.
It's kind of like a YA, but I don't know.
A little bit.
Yeah. What is this loving a robot you're talking about?
So one of the characters,
and who's Lando?
I don't know who Lando is, but he loves a robot.
Maybe it's the bear thing. Maybe he's Lando, and maybe because it's only him and the robot, they're kind of the outcasts. So they kind of, you know,
that would make sense.
they kind of snuggle together. It's like it's just us, baby. We're the outcasts here. We're the only non-humans in this group.
Well, in the future, you can love a robot if you want. There are people nowadays who love mannequins.
Yeah.
People who love pillows.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
So.
Your body pillow, is that what you're saying? With the anime girl?
I have to disagree with him that Little Ham-Fisted is stupid. People like inanimate objects all the time.
Well,
this
so-
is even more animate.
Listen,
so.
you need a little spice in these movies. If it's just straight up platonic the whole way through, you're like,
Yeah, there's gotta be some romance.
Are these people robots? Which is ironic because the only robot in this movie apparently is the only one getting it on. You know?
Yeah. So is that a pro?
I think it's
very
a pro.
progressive.
Robot love.
Robot love.
Robot
Because-
love.
Now, the next review, he's a little confused, I think. He is in Ishmael.
He is in Ishmael.
In, the letter N, and then
I thought he was.
Ishmael.
Okay, I thought he was inside Ishmael.
He goes on to say, Star Wars Han Solo expeditions across the galaxy. So there are
Okay, so maybe it isn't just one planet.
Huh? Could be. But Earth may still be there with London and all that.
Yeah, we have no.
Or maybe
we don't
London
know.
got cut when they fired Lord Miller.
Yeah, maybe.
Their Star Wars fans think, where is Disney going to put the great Star Wars idea next? So he's, where are they going to go next with Star Wars?
I mean, it didn't do very well, so we may not get another one of these things.
That's true. That's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Well, it seemed only a Moni Mang idea, but for the original Goerge Lucan idea of a film.
Like, who's George Lucan?
Yeah.
George Lucan?
Maybe
he
it's
was
not,
the author.
It's not George. It's George.
Oh, George Lucan.
Could be Polish. I
Was
don't
he
know.
saying money mailing idea?
Maybe this is like a French novel. George Lucan.
George Lucan. That would make sense.
A French sci-fi author that Disney found. Like, hey, we love this Star Wars story solo thing. We'll make it a movie for Americans, Maybe that's another thing.
This guy could be French, because English
Did
doesn't
he-
sound like his first language, but he makes some good points.
But George Lucan, did he direct American Graffiti? Is that the same guy that I'm thinking of?
I'm not sure. It could be. It could be.
Okay.
Um,
Well, he's somehow affiliated, but I'm not really sure
I think
how.
he's the author.
He's affiliated through a money mailing scheme. I don't really get what Ishmael's saying here.
I think
I don't know.
George Lucan is the author, the French author of the original.
it could be money-making idea.
money making idea.
just-
Okay, so he wrote the original book, which was a good money making.
It probably sold well in Europe.
Where was I? Certification, let's say, must high, as the but is classification is low for Star Wars.
The butt is classification.
Yes. The classification is low for Star Wars, I think is what he's trying to say.
Okay.
Movie to inspire a next generation. So
Okay. So
They were trying to make a franchise, apparently, or something.
yeah.
could be. They might have been working.
Were they going to do Star Wars the next generation, kind of like Star Trek the next generation? Is that,
That
what he's
could
getting
be.
at?
That's a very
Alright.
good.
No, I
chance.
mean, if you think about it, you got Star Wars, Star Trek.
Are they related somehow? They both have "star" in the name.
Maybe they're kind of set in the same universe,
Yeah.
but they're not. Maybe a crossover. Maybe we'll have
That would be cool.
the Starship Enterprise, and they'll come across the whatever the ship they're flying in. And they're like, hey, we got this problem. Let's help each other.
Yeah, because I want to see like maybe Data. It would cause a love triangle between Lando, the giant hairy guy, and the robot in the Star Wars film, and Data. There's an angle there.
That could be. But he goes on to say, and this is confusing, but I may have an answer. I boycotted the last Star Wars movie of as it felt a paying, money-suckling of Disney movie.
A money suckling of Disney movie.
The Star Wars movie should 15 to 18 certification with countless books written. There must be
so there
more
are books. Okay.
And
George Lucan probably wrote a series, and they were trying to adapt the book series of Star Wars.
I wonder if there was maybe like a French only release.
Because that's how it happens sometimes. Like sometimes they'll make a movie that was made like in the 50s, 60s or something.
Yes.
That only had a limited release at the time.
But they want to try a broader market.
But they want to reboot it and try to broaden.
Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, it could
Okay,
be
yeah,
something
that
like that.
makes
Just
sense, yeah.
something released in France because that's where George Lucan, was big. It's kind of like the Witcher series a little bit.
Yeah,
where
where's
the
that
books and then the games kind of widespread.
Because there's we compare it to is that there were Narnia movies made way back in the
that's
50s
right,
and
there was.
60s.
I remember seeing on Netflix, someone was mad because they rented one of those old Narnia movies and they thought it was like the more recent ones with the CGI lion and stuff. They were like, why are the beavers giant people in suits? Why are the beavers so huge?
Which makes me think,
really
like,
funny.
I really want to see the original one. Maybe there's like an English translation for it sometimes.
We'll have to look it up.
Yeah. But he goes on to say, I'd miss the next stars just by the trailers, which he's going back to stealing our idea, what we're doing.
He better not make a podcast. He can do that all he wants. Just don't make a podcast about it.
It for money, and It's Star Wars is now lost in space. It makes a little bit of a space joke, which is okay.
Yeah, that's very, very clever.
Maybe a pro is that it has the great George Lucan's name attached.
Yeah,
Could
that
be.
is true because it's based off of apparently.
A successful French book series.
So yeah, George Lucan, Goerge Lucan, George Lucan. He's a pro. Okay. And I didn't really see any cons in there. The only con I could see was that people are trying to rip off our idea, but it's not really Star Wars' fault.
Yeah, not really.
Maybe a con is that it didn't make enough money. I mean, that's kind of indicative of the film as itself, is no one really wanted to go see it.
Do we want to put that down? Because if you don't make a lot of money, I'm sorry, you can't be a technically good movie. You can be an okay movie, but only good movies make a lot of money.
And it's just Disney.
That's just the rules.
And I think that we should hold their feet more to the fire because it's Disney.
Yeah, they should make a lot of money.
Your money should just fly out of your pockets.
Yes, they should come in as stormtroopers, and I don't know where I'm pulling that name from. They should come in as stormtroopers with big mice ears and just beat the money out of you. That's their God-given right.
You mean like World War I Germans? I gotta be a weird mental image here.
I don't know where that name came from. I don't know. I just feel maybe it would go well with the setting of the movie. I don't know why I thought of that, but.
So we got Benjamin here. He says, being a Star Wars fan, so he might be from France or know about the French.
He might have lived in France
series.
and.
Well, there could have been like a rip online or
I enjoyed the movie as much as fans did. Solo, a Star Wars story, is a perfect explanation as to how Han Solo is who he is, with where he lived, how he got his name, and how he met Chewbacca. I wonder which one's Chewbacca. Do you think?
Maybe it was
Is that like the guy who threw the gun? He's Chewbacca, maybe
him or the girl he met in like the casino area.
She could be Chewbacca.
I think she's Chewbacca.
Yeah, she looks like one.
Yeah.
It's a cute name.
Maybe
feminine.
maybe it's shorthand. Maybe she's like Chewbacca. And they're like, well, let's just call you Chewbacca
or Chewie.
Yeah.
Maybe they shortened it.
Chewietta or something like that.
I don't know.
It's French.
Yeah.
And became a smuggler. Don't forget how he met Lando, probably the big hairy thing.
Yeah.
How he obtained the Millennium Falcon. Could have been their ship.
I think that's the ship they were showing off all the time. The Millennium Falcon. That's a nice ring to it. I like it.
Everything ties together. Everything makes sense, except for a massive plot hole in the end. Otherwise, it is a great movie. So, unfortunately, massive plot hole. I think we have to put that down.
Hole. Did he specify what?
He did not.
Okay, well, we're going to take his word
but
for it.
But it's massive, so I think if you watched it and didn't get sick, you would notice it.
Well, I think that squid we were talking about comes out of a hole. So does the squid come through the plot hole?
Is that a plot hole? What is a plot hole, really? Is it a hole in the movie?
Yeah.
Where a plot element comes from?
Maybe.
I don't know exactly how it works.
Maybe it's the name of the black hole the squid thing comes on it. Because maybe we're just Americanized. Maybe it's the plot hole,
Yeah. I mean, like, I always thought it was like a script issue where, like, a person says, I could never do this, and then later they do it, and there's no explanation as to why. But we don't know. Maybe the plot hole is in the movie. Maybe it's meta-textual. Maybe it's commenting on how scripts work,
Well, we seem to have that a lot. We had Robin Hood stealing metaphysical things. Maybe this movie has some metaphysical things.
Yes, maybe like the squid. Maybe they said squids don't live in this part of space, and then comes out of a hole.
Yeah, but that could have been a plot twist.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's saying the movie is doing that intentionally to make a plot hole joke.
It's subverting our expectations.
Yes.
Like we're not expecting.
Did you come up with that? Subverting our expectations?
Well, it's a common storytelling.
I never heard
trope.
of it. That's a good saying.
Yeah, maybe we should have that as a pro. Subverting expectations.
It's subverting because it said squids cannot live in space. Get that filthy thought out of your head right now. But then later at the end of the movie, the squid comes out. They're like, "Whoa, what's this? A squid can live in space."
So I think it is possibly a massive plot hole. See, we haven't seen the movie.
Right.
We can only
give
guess.
it a pro and a con.
So I'm saying pro for massive plot hole if it's kind of a metatextual reference.
Right. It can. This is a It's a pro and a con. It varies depending on whether you've seen the movie or not, basically.
Well, we've had pro-con before.
Yeah, we have. So
it's on par for the course.
So we go on to Camille 416. They have an extreme reaction. 15 minutes into this movie, and you'll be so pissed you want to snap the disc in half. Garbage. No one cares about this Han Solo. It's not the real Han Solo. I would take old Harrison Ford and Walker before I accept this. So I think that's really...
What is Harrison Ford?
That's a weird metaphor, but it's very vivid.
It is weird. I'm not sure if these two things are related about watching the movie. I think he just wants to see Harrison Ford and Walker.
I mean, give it enough time. He's like 80 or 70.
Maybe this person has seen the old French movie.
Could be. He might be a purist.
Yeah. But we're forgetting the first part. This movie can enrage you so badly you want to destroy it bodily.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that should be a con.
I could be a con, but remember, this guy is a purist.
So there's no pleasing these kind of people.
Yeah.
We can put it as a purist will not be pleased. We can do that as a con.
Purist won't. That's a better way to phrase it.
They only want to watch black and white, French, no subtitles.
He would rather see Harrison Ford in a Walker.
Right. I don't know how Harrison Ford really relates to the original, if he does it all, or if he's just throwing out a actor's suggestion, you know?
I think it's just a crazy, like, metaphor. Like, he hated the movie so much, he would rather see this famous actor debilitated and you having to use a walker. That's how badly he did not like the movie.
That makes sense.
Yes.
But that's it for Rando reviews.
Okay.
Now we can go on to Pop and Parental Guides, and there's some information here that I think would be helpful for us. So, even IMDb has this, like the other Star Wars movies, talking probably about the original. Mm-hmm. There is violence, but there's little to no blood. But the character is a smuggler, so it does have more crime. So if you're afraid of crime, melee fighting takes place with various kinds of weapons, some resulting in violent and deathly injuries. Blood is shown in some, but only very brief.
You know, that is a side effect of weapons.
Right.
They do cause violent deaths and injuries.
Yes.
The worst offender, man gets kicked in the groin.
Ooh, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that's the con, because I do not like getting kicked in the groin or watching other people get kicked in the groin.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it up there tentatively. Groin
kicking
trauma.
Yeah, groin trauma.
So just be warned.
Here's the important thing, and we talked about this: frightening and intense scenes. Scary octopus-like creature in the Kessel Run scene.
Okay.
So there's your octopus.
There is a giant...
There is confirmed. And
right.
It's scary, which just makes the squid better,
It subverts expectations.
Yes.
I'm kind of out of stuff. I mean, I think we got a pretty good picture of what this movie is about. Mm-hmm. You know, made by Goerge Lucan, Lord Miller had it, and then it went on to Ron Howard, who's famous for filming Trees. You know, it's kind of got a long legacy of this movie. It's got multiple different creators, you know, things like that.
Stretches back to the 1960s, apparently.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be a lot older.
I didn't know if we also wanted to officially launch another section, which I want to call Facts and Follies, where we take a look at trivia and goofs.
Yeah, we should have talked about it, you know.
Because we don't. It doesn't matter.
Hey,
it's just that. But
Facts and Follies. We made a folly when we should have brought it at the start. Hey, it fits perfectly.
Yeah, we're off to a great start.
What a great start for it.
Yes, and I already kind of mentioned it earlier. I did like the villain was going to be a dinosaur bird thing, but unfortunately he's not.
Right, do we have that as a con?
I don't know, we don't have that as a con.
No, put that as a con. I just made a generic scarred man.
So yeah, But
scars are cool.
Yes, scars are cool, as we pointed out.
Yeah, but the villain always has scars.
But I feel like scars kind of lose out to dinosaur bird villain.
Maybe the dinosaur bird villain could have had scars on it.
Scars only have more impact when it's not necessarily the villain.
That's right, the hero it's always more interesting when the hero's scarred, because you don't see that very often. So yeah, there was some trivia here that was backing up the whole, like, Ron Howard had to reshoot more than 80% of the movie. Okay, so here's this other trivia I wanted to bring up. An early version of the Solo screenplay involved an elephant-sized naked mole known as a Wapota that would slowly chase after Han and Chewie with a giant drill attached to its face. And I was like, why isn't this in the movie?
My goodness, that's awesome.
Is that more of that surreal British humor from Lord Miller?
I guess
they cut it?
Yeah,
or,
it's not in the movie.
Is that French from Goerge Lucan?
We got Americans, we got English people, and we got French. Maybe it was a combination of all three.
Yeah, I mean it could have many sources, but that's like massive con that's not in the movie.
I know. I was so upset when I found out that wasn't in the movie. So
Put that on con.
No-
No giant mole drill thing.
his name is Wapoda.
No Wapoda.
That might be what his race is called or his creature is called. There's no Wapoda in the movie, which... I'm sorry, you got a squid, which is cool, but I've never seen an elephant-sized naked mole with a drill attached to his face.
Yeah, I mean, giant squid done before, but this never seen before.
Yeah.
It's weird how they specify naked mole. It's not a mole rat, it's a naked mole.
Yeah, I feel like they meant naked mole rat, but maybe it looked too much like an actual mole, so they just kind of hedged their bets.
Well, it's a sci-fi. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, mole rats they look a little bit different than
They do,
moles,
that's what I'm saying.
so
Maybe technically it should have been a naked mole rat, but
made it look more like a mole.
Yeah,
It's
so
more
there's-
pleasing to the eyes.
yeah, I guess.
As pleasing as you can make an elephant-sized naked mole with a drill attached to it.
Yeah.
Slowly going after.
Yeah, that's what I love slowly. It's like that scene from Austin Powers. Okay, well, I guess that's it for Facts and Follies.
Yeah, I think that's it for the podcast.
yeah.
Other than our review, obviously.
Yes.
Well,
what's IMDb say? We normally look at that one, and then we do our review, and then we do Rotten
we can
Tomatoes.
not do.
I can
let's just
do-
do Rotten Tomatoes this time.
Well, let's do Rotten Tomatoes, and I'll bring up IMDb afterwards.
Okay.
Well, let's give our review first before we see
Right.
Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
But before we do that, we have to go over all our pros and cons.
Yes.
All right.
And then make a review.
So let's go with cons first.
Okay,
This
yeah.
time, no cute alien. As we said, if you're gonna have successful sci-fi, you gotta rip off ET a little sometimes.
Yeah. We do.
Apparently, it makes you sick. It gives you Star Wars fatigue.
As colloquial term.
Yeah.
And probably something else.
Which, it's so we don't get sued or anything. Cover our backs here. We don't know if the movie itself gives you Star Wars fatigue.
Right.
It may have been something in the theater.
If you're gonna watch the movie at home, I suggest maybe wearing a gas mask or something.
Yeah, maybe
Tinfoil
special
hat, anything,
Yeah.
just anything you can think of that might protect you.
special glasses, whatever.
It's better than nothing.
And they kicked out Lord Miller,
Lord Miller,
the estimable Lord Miller,
Esquire.
epic director, awesome politician in Britain,
Yeah.
House of Lords.
but they said he wasn't good enough, which I think is a real shame because I think from what I was seeing here, he had a real vision, a real unique, absurdist, surreal vision, and they wanted something a little
good,
more
dry British humor.
Yeah, they wanted something more well-rounded and appealing for a general audience. Which, I mean, if you try to please everyone,
You please no one.
and which it's proof in the pudding, they're going to lose like $50 million on it apparently. So that was interesting enough. That's our other con. Didn't make a lot of money.
No.
Only good movies make a lot of money. So that's a lot going
Any
against
one good movie that hasn't made a lot of money, and you will not find any.
I can't. It's just impossible.
it. Massive plot hole. But this is only in the situation where it is literally a plot hole.
Right.
We will get into the other
This
things.
this one jumps back and forth, so it's a
Yes.
it's a pro con, but it's only active. Like it's only active depending on what's actually in the movie.
Yes.
Whether the squid comes out the plot hole or it is a plot hole.
Or
Or
something
it
else.
is a meta reference to a plot hole that they intentionally wrote into the script.
Right.
Just geniuses.
So next con, purists won't be pleased. As we saw from that one review, if you're a fan of the original French books, it can make you so mad you want to destroy the DVD. Then another con, there's apparently groin trauma. Someone gets hit in the
all
naughty
you
bits.
guys out there,
Yeah, steel yourself. That's all I'm saying. And they got rid of. This is going to be like two cons, kind of about the same thing. They got rid of the Dino Bird villain and replaced him with Paul Bettany. And I like Paul Bettany, but I'm sorry.
maybe Paul Bettany could have been the dinosaur bird.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
was,
I was thinking.
Well, it was an issue with reshoots. They didn't want to go through the effort of trying to, because I think he was supposed to be kind of like a human monster alien hybrid, and they just didn't want to deal with the prosthetics. Because I think the scars were added in digitally.
Oh, really?
So Paul Bettany didn't even know, and then he sees himself in like the promotional material, and he's like, "Where'd those scars come
That
from?"
must be really worrying. Like you see yourself in the movie, and you just
Yeah.
got scars all over you.
Yeah.
He might have just got up out of the theater, ran to the restroom just to check because
What?
where did these scars?
Yeah, what did
from?
they do to me while I slept?
I know.
You know?
Or the other thing, like you get cast in a movie, you think you're one thing. You go into to see the movie, you're a giant pink teddy bear. You had no clue. They've changed you completely. I mean, it's got to be a nightmare scenario.
CGI can do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're going to be like CGIing dead actors back in.
I know, that'd be
You're going to
terrifying.
see maybe like Vincent Price just
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
A CGI version of him. You're going to be like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's like necromancy. And I
That
won't
could
stand for it.
be a pro to have digital Vincent Price in there.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it'd be an affront to God, but it would be cool too at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so our last con, no Wapoda. No giant naked mole with a drill in his face slowly chasing our heroes.
I think that was probably a Lord Miller thing.
Yeah, I
Clever
do
British
too.
humor is once again tossed away because it's unorthodox.
Okay, so now for the pros. Trains, double trains.
Double trains.
So that's kind of two pros in one.
Yep.
Giant squid, which has been confirmed because
Yes.
the movie's like Jules Verne in as much as it has a giant squid.
Yes.
Logistical stuff.
They cut out.
Yes.
Lord Miller, he was doing it. They cut it out.
Too boring.
Robot Love. It's a very progressive film.
Between the giant hairy Lando and the beautiful... We never got her name, so it's the beautiful robot maiden.
Robot lady.
Yeah.
Pros, it is based off material from the great George Lucan.
Yes.
Famous sci-fi author, real big in the 60s and 70s.
In France.
Yes, I
If
think
you weren't there, you were square.
I think he directed American Graffiti. I can't think of any other movie he did.
I think he had a hand in the original 1960s black and white Star Wars.
He probably did.
I wouldn't be
bit.
surprised. Like
I hear he's a
that's
real.
what he-
I hear he's a real perfectionist. He does a lot. He employs a lot of weird techniques. Like I think, what was it, ring theory and all that.
Yes, very very advanced storytelling.
Yeah.
The next pro, it subverts your expectations.
Yes, it does.
I can't remember what we were referring to.
Well,
but-
The plot hole.
The
That's
plot-
how I relate
okay,
to the plot hole, the plot hole,
Okay,
or the
that's
plot
right,
hole.
So those are our pros and cons. I
Okay.
guess now we have to formulate our reviews.
Well, I have my review, my score.
Okay.
We can take your
I'm
score
going to
first.
give it just a flat 70. Even though it didn't make a lot of money, it had double trains, a giant squid, and a kind of a cool sci-fi western that I at first, was hesitant, but that's kind of won me over how cool that could be, you know, maybe. But I was really bummed out they got rid of the giant mole thing, and they got rid of Lord Miller and cut out all of his surreal British humor.
What about you, Billy? You got a score?
Yeah, I think I do. I think I'm gonna give it a 40.
40?
Yeah, a little under, maybe a 45. I'm thinking
45,
of 45 because
okay.
it's almost to 50% because to me there's almost as many good things as there are bad. Like no cute alien makes you sick.
That does another con.
Potentially a massive plot hole, and it's cool they got a squid, but I also lost out on Wapoda and dinosaur bird gangster.
I think I would have preferred, to be honest, the giant mole to the squid.
I would have, as much as I like giant squids, I would have had
But they're
Wapoda
done
any
to
day.
That would have been new. Giant
Yeah.
squid, dog
Yeah,
time.
I
We
mean-
have giant squid.
Well, like they mentioned themselves, Jules Verne, the whole connection there.
I mean, until you can't watch a movie without there being a giant squid in it.
I know they're everywhere. Like
we don't have giant moles.
when Sally Met Harry, giant squid.
There was a giant squid off in the distance.
Yeah.
It's like
The Peanuts movie, giant
Giant-
squid. It's insane how many of these movies have giant squids in them.
But no giant naked moles with drills
No,
attached to
no.
them ever.
It would have
This
been
would've
new.
the first.
That was kind of the main thing that pushed me, towards a more negative review. So 45, I think, is very fair.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on a pros and cons. I'm going to kind of go middle of you guys. I think I like a 57. I don't know
57?
why. 57. That's a good score on my book. It
Yeah.
had, I think the pros slightly outweighed the cons. I think it was very close. If this had none of the big cons like no Wapoda, no dinosaur, I could have just given it 100.
Yeah.
90.
it would have been the first 100. We had the first one when I gave that Robin Hood movie.
Yes.
I probably underestimated the Robin Hood movie, but once the review is settled, then I think it's fine.
That's set in stone.
Now let me get our average. 57.3 repeating. The 3 repeating seems to be very common.
doing that.
Common theme. I think it's because we keep giving it weird scores like 57, or I do at least.
I gave it a nice flat 70.
I get a 45. So
To be honest, now we started talking about it, I do remember being aware, maybe watching a little bit of the original Fringe. And I
really?
And I really liked
that's
it.
weird. I didn't know you did.
Yeah.
Are you sure that doesn't disqualify you, Luke?
I just saw a little bit of it.
Just
It was
a little bit?
I think I saw like a few clips on YouTube. I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. I mean, I can't understand any of it, but
Yeah.
I like the setting and all that.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's see how our score measures up with what Rotten Tomatoes did. They said 70%.
Oh.
A flawed yet fun and fast-paced space adventure solo a Star Wars story should satisfy newcomers to the saga, as well as longtime fans who check their expectations at the theater door.
See, no purist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no purist. But 70%, we got 57.3. Luke had it dead on the mark with the 70, but that's, reviews are
There's a critic in all of us.
So Luke is the winner of this episode.
No, well,
what do I get?
Audiences?
You get nothing. It's like, whose line is it anyways?
We got to see the audience as well. We consider their...
Oh, yes, 64%. So they
it's
weren't...
a little bit closer to ours as well. So I think 57.
So I think both the critics and the audience did pretty good this time.
Yeah, I think so too.
Normally one of them just whiffs it big time, but
It's like which one was the one that got 57, 57?
Grinch.
Yes.
Our favorite movie, Lord and Savior.
Yeah,
it got it. We gave it an 80 average. It's our highest scored.
That is true.
Right
so I forgot what we gave it. So,
yeah, we gave it an 80 average.
Okay, so it is the best movie we've done.
Yes.
And it makes me wonder what the Grinch could have been if it was directed by Lord Miller. I think the Grinch maybe would have been a film with some surreal humor.
I think so too. But trying to get Lord Miller, very difficult.
I know it's really difficult to get him. Disney gets him and they fire him.
I know.
It really shows you how high expectations Disney has.
Yeah, I mean, with him though, Grinch could have been 100%, maybe 110% movie.
Could have
been the first ever. So you also went to see IMDb. They give it a 7 out of 10. So it's kind of 70 basically.
70 all around.
Yeah, so I'd say it's very close to
so a very middling movie unless you're a purist. All right, so I think that wraps everything up. If you want to get in contact with us, you can reach us on our Twitter at MuchReviewAN, at MuchReviewAN, and our email's the same thing. It's muchreviewAN@gmail.com. If you want to send us feedback or advice or ask us questions, you can do that there.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll be able to rate it on whatever hosting site we put it on.
Yes, please review and rate us if you so feel like doing. Yeah. We need all the help we can get with this.
And you may be featured in inspection.
Yes. We'll either be really depressed by what you've said or be really happy. It just depends. Oh, yeah, we should have a YouTube eventually, so you can look that up.
We gotta have YouTube.
Yeah, it may be out by the time you hear this. With that, this has been Much Review About Nothing. I've been Billy Greer.
I've been Jake Greer.
And I've been Luke Greer.
Bye.
Bye.